Coming live from the 215, it's your boy ROCKIIN, REESE, bringing another edition of WCC Ring Rockers, the show where the music and wrestling talks never stop. And today we are celebrating Black History Month, the WCC style, and crazily enough, I'm the only brother on the show. But that ain't going to stop me from introducing everybody else, though, because first and foremost, we're going north of the border to Ontario, Canada, to my co-host, the Canadian Goose, Rob Gosling. Rob, how you doing?
Doing well, getting ready for the weekend.
And, of course, I want to take us down back to the States. We're going south of Mason-Dixon because first I got to say hey to Mr. Friday Night, the host of the WCC main event, which you can catch 30 minutes after SmackDown, and America's resident asshole himself, Doug Barrett. Dougie, how you doing?
I feel good, and to all the Syracuse fans out there in the world, the only thing I got to say is have a box of tissues for the weekend.
Ever the sports subtle will start you, Doug. And of course, we about to bring the Vols. We about to bring the Vols up in here because, ladies and gentlemen, straight from the CAC, we got Malevolent Melissa from Knoxville. What's up, Melissa?
I am. How are you?
Doing good. We ready to kick off some Black History Month. And matter of fact, I'm just going to go straight into it because promos are going to take us forever here tonight. So, all right, y'all. Now, as y'all know, February Black History Month, and we have definitely had a lot of great African Americans in the wrestling over the years. Just wanted to know real quick before we go into detail some of them. Who is one of the ones that immediately stood out? And I'm going to start off with Melissa, since she is our first-time caller here on the show. Melissa, who are some African-American wrestlers that stood out to you, like when you first got into the sport?
Well, I began watching it at a very young age. The Junkyard Dog. JYD was a big influence on me. Ron Simmons and Tony Atlas.
All right, Mr. USA. Right there. Yeah, I was about to say, since you brought up JYD, I've never got a chance to ask anybody this whenever we talk about JYD. Did you always used to do that little dance that he always did when he got up on the ropes?
Well, I loved the dance, but as a kid, I wanted the aggression more, so I enjoyed the big chain.
All right, let me throw it over to Doug right now. Doug, who are some African American wrestlers that stood out to you, like when you first started watching wrestling?
Of course, if we're going to say when I first started, of course it'd be Ron Simmons because, I didn't really care for Junkyard Dog. I looked at him and I'm like, why do we have a cartoon character on television? Did we have to have a black version of the Ultimate Warrior?
Cool.
It is the asshole coming out now. After that, of course, there's only really one great black athlete, and it ain't Ron Simmons. It's the big cat, Bunny Lad.
Oh, wait, I'm set. Yeah, see, you ain't fooling me because I know that's your Cowboy fan coming out in you, but that's another story, another time. But
no, he was a great athlete. He was a thorn in the side.
That is true.
Bruno for many years. I mean, of course, the only other one you could put on that level is Bobo Brazil, but we're not here to talk about the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, are we?
No, we'll save that. Yeah, we'll save that for anybody else. Rob, who your influence was?
Wow. I think I think pretty much everyone's been mentioned already. JYD was really big on me as a kid. Again, Ron Simmons, Big Cat Ernie Ladd, Bobo Brazil. It's hard. It's like I said, when everyone's already kind of hit the nail on the head as far as growing up has been concerned.
All right. Well, of course, besides all them, of course, to me also because I was kind of on that cusp, like with him. Of course, I had to throw in Booker T as well. Of course, this was just before Harlem Heat came in existence. Yeah, because there was like something about Booker that just stood out, and it was like, well, actually, it was between him and Stevie Ray. So
we know what that
something about it that screamed though.
We know
what was that, Dougie?
I said we know what the thing was that made Booker T stand out.
He overdid it.
And I ain't counting the spinneroonie because that came later in the time. But
no, I'm not counting the other thing. I'm counting the other thing in WCW.
Yeah, could you care to elaborate on that, Doug?
Oh, come on. The one thing Booker T is always going to be known for, he's not going to be known for the spinneroonie or the title runs. No, he's going to be only known for this. Oh, Hogan, we're coming for you, nigga.
Cool. Yeah, that's only if you count memes up in there. So
that's the best you got?
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some of our lists while we're at it. Of course, everybody mentioned this man first. Of course, Big Cat Ernie Ladd, as you know, AFL champion with the San Diego Chargers, played with the Cowboys for a little while as well. Then, of course, went into professional wrestling for one of the most notorious heel wrestlers ever. Actually, one of the first African Americans to actually portray a heel.
Actually, there is something I'm going to add to that with the Big Cat Ernie Ladd. He was also the first one to say, "You're not going to book me as this, poor boy, doesn't know no English kind of character. I'm going to stand out with class."
And that was one thing about Ernie was that, he was not going to portray a dummy. As a matter of fact, he definitely lit up people with some of his promos. In particular, Andre the Giant, which I didn't care what size you were. Andre would be like one of the last people I would make mad at me. But of course, Big Cat would have his would actually be a two-time Hall of Famer because, two-time wrestling Hall of Famer because he would be in the NWA Hall of Fame in 1994, and then of course a year later he would be into the WWE Hall of Fame in 1995 as well. So real quick, everybody, I just want to go around starting Melissa again. What was it about, whenever you did see Ernie Ladd, what was it about him that you think made him stand out to people?
His persona, his attitude.
For me, it was his promos.
Dougie?
Well, you know me, I'm a tape collector. Excluding the promos, his matches in the town, he's always been a Thor and Bruno Sammartino because he was probably one of the few people that the fans actually looked at and said, there's the guy who could dethrone Bruno during Bruno's long-ass title run.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people. Yeah, actually, I thought he would have done it by then. I actually thought he was one of the few people that could actually wind up giving Andre a pinfall loss too. But
now let's not.
This is not doing an elimination chamber.
Who's talking to Robert Doug? I couldn't make out at the end there.
I was going to say, don't forget, Big Cat Ernie Ladd is also did some commentating as well. Let's remember he commentated on WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, right. That's right. Okay. Often commentating with Gorilla Monsoon as well. Also, not to mention he's a two-sport Hall of Famer because, of course, San Diego Chargers put him in their Hall of Fame as well. Well, and he's also in the AFL Hall of Fame. So definitely, Big Cat Ernie Ladd, definitely somebody who accomplished a lot for African-American wrestlers, as well as another man a lot, as you mentioned, Bobo Brazil, which is funny. A lot of people don't remember this, that Bobo was actually credited with although officially it wasn't recognized, but he actually was the first black NWA World Champion, defeating Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. And unfortunately, what was interesting about this was that Brazil initially rejected winning the title because he was like, all right, if Buddy was hurt, then he didn't want the title. But then after an examination, it turned out that Rogers was never hurt, so technically, like, Brazil wound up getting shafted out of a legitimate title run. But of course, Bobo Brazil would also go on to become a multiple-time United States champion as well between the NWA and Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and become the first African-American inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame back in 1994, coincidentally enough, by Big Cat Ernie Ladd. So, yeah, what were your thoughts about Bobo?
You know, if it wasn't for Bobo, I don't think we ever would have saw guys like Ron Simmons or Booker T or any of the other black athletes we had today, because Bobo deserves a lot of credit. But unfortunately, most fans, and I'm going to say it's not the older fans, I'm going to say it's the younger fans who don't do their research, who don't want to go look back at the vault and matches of the past. He doesn't get the respect from them, but he gets the respect from us older fans like you, me, Captain Ron, the Canadian Destroyer, Rob Godwin, and of course the female of the group tonight, Melissa. We all respect him. Bobo deserves everything he's got in the Hall of Fame, everything. So, Bobo, tip my hat to you, my friend.
Melissa?
Well, actually, another one that comes to mind is Coco Beware.
Oh.
Remember him?
The Birdman.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, he's another one I grew up with.
Of course, your fellow Tennessee resident right there.
You got
it. Union City.
Yeah, he lives over here in Colorville.
Right.
You know I want to be an asshole right now, right?
Yeah, you do.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm sorry. The only thing Coco Beware is going to be known for is two things. One, came in with someone hard, and two, the only reason he's in the Hall of Fame is because of that music video, Power Driver. Other than that, case closed. Moving on.
He's in the Hall of Fame because of the bird.
Wait a minute, hold on. Do I hear my man Captain Ron on the line right now?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I've heard everything, at least up to about the last 10 minutes, and I got to tell you, I mean, I'm impressed with the way this is going, but obviously my favorites, African-American wrestler from back in the day, someone I grew up watching when I was a young kid, definitely right up there at the top as one of the most influential African-American wrestlers of all time, and they just honored him on Raw just this past Monday, and that's Ron Simmons. But I also got to give a special salute to a man that I actually have seen in live in action, one of my first live wrestling shows, and that was the man known as Nelson Frazier, a.k.a. Mabel, a.k.a. King Mabel, a.k.a. Viscera, a.k.a. Big Daddy V, a.k.a. The Love Machine. And I got to say, flat out, as a guy who actually has seen this guy, has met this guy, has been around this guy, has literally been, like, blessed at the very fact that wrestling is one of these things that's actually kept my sanity in one piece. I got to say that man right there was one of those true pioneers for plus-size superstars.
That's right. And actually, I was getting ready to touch on the All-Americans in just a little bit, but real quick, Rob, did I get your opinion on Bobo Brazil real quick?
Hello?
Rob. Yeah, hello.
Yo.
All right, yeah, before I move on to Ron, can I get your opinions on Bobo Brazil?
Well, if it wasn't for him, we half the guys today wouldn't have a move because he was the inventor of the cocoa butt.
Cocoa butt?
Yeah. His version. Yeah, his jumping headbutt.
Only in Canada.
Only in Canada? He's the one that wrestled through the States. Well, all over the world, you know.
I'm just getting my trash talking in now there, Rob.
Oh, okay, fair enough, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
All right.
Friday night's going to be a bad night for you guys.
All right, next up, well, we definitely got to talk about this man because since he has the namesake of one of our callers, of course, we're talking about that man from Warner Robins, Georgia, the All-American Ron Simmons, two-time Hall of Famer, because, of course, Florida State Seminoles inducted him in 2009, I believe. Then, of course, WWE Hall of Fame 2012.
Be right back.
Van Seminole, who was the first all-black NWA Tag Team Champions with Doom, of course, with his partner Hacksaw Butch Reed, with manager Teddy Long. Yeah. Of course, then August of 1992, he became the first African-American WCW World Heavyweight Champion, defeating the 450-pound Big Van Vader down in Baltimore, Maryland. And let me tell you, that right there was definitely a special moment in my book because that wasn't even the scheduled match. It was supposed to be Sting and Vader in a rematch, but then Jake the Snake took the Stinger out. So then it was just a random draw, and Ron Simmons got the opportunity, and he took advantage of it despite Vader had like potato on him left and right. So yeah. So let me ask this, Captain Ron, since you already touched a lot on All-American, or as it is, like I had to ask you, what do you think were the standout thing that made Ron Simmons such a noted figure?
If you look at the superstars now, all the, African-American superstars, they're all about the style and the prowess and what they can do they can talk a good game on the mic and then, do a little showing off in the ring. That's all great and dandy. Ron Simmons was one of those guys who didn't need to basically sit here and bust out like Booker T or have the size of Big E Langston. I mean, this man literally took Big Van Vader to the woodshed and pretty much shocked everybody, even Vader. Now, I can actually say this because I've actually met Vader in person because he's been to Denver multiple times since then. He actually has a home in Centennial. Vader usually goes to this place called Red and Jerry's that does like wrestling shows, like live wrestling shows and actual WWE pay-per-view showings and everything else. I had a moment to, sit down and talk to Vader in between his little autograph sessions and his promoting of, all the fans of Red and Jerry's. And I asked him about, the match with Ron Simmons, and he said that he knew that for a fact that he was going to drop that title that night, but he figured, he was prepping himself for Sting, and once he basically gave the green light to Ron Simmons. Vader literally said that it was this guy's time. This guy was like, he has the complete package. He has the look, he has the style, he has that brash attitude that you would rarely see after the once Doom pretty much went their separate ways. But one thing about Ron Simmons that sets him apart about anybody else is that he was, in my opinion, the original Bobby Lashley. Soft-spoken, hard-hitting. He literally took his football style and applied it in a way that pretty much still to this day impresses me. He didn't have to, throw in a couple of other moves in there. He's doing things that pretty much they'll literally make Tim Tebow take a holy shit in like 3 seconds. That's what made Ron Simmons pretty much, arguably, without a shadow of a doubt, in my mind, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, African-American superstar in professional wrestling, just because of the fact that he didn't have to say a lot. He let his actions do the talking. He was in a world where it was a predominantly white group, and the biggest thing about Ron Simmons was that when Ron Simmons stepped up to the plate, he never backed down from a fight. He never backed down from a challenge. Hurt, tired, sick, doesn't matter. Ron Simmons was always that guy who was always that constant professional in the ring, constant professional out of the ring, and in all fairness, he's that one guy who literally drops the motherfucking hammer at any given moment. That is what makes Ron Simmons one of the greatest.
And let's I don't know how you're going to follow that one, but what do you think was the standout thing about Ron Simmons?
Well, I mean, I was raised actually in a racist household.
Wow.
Yeah, that black people were not supposed to be talked to. They weren't supposed to be friends with. Well, I'm actually kind of a rebellious person anyway, so I didn't care. I liked Ron Simmons. And I loved football. I watched him play football. And I remember him coming into the wrestling business as somebody you were supposed to like. So, of course, I liked him. Well, then I think about, 6 months to a year later, he'd kind of heel. And then you're supposed to hate him. Well, given I was in a racist household that still watched wrestling, I had to hear it all around the living room how much they hated this guy. And for me, it wasn't the fact of his color. That has nothing to do with it. It's his performance, his athleticism, his determination. That's what drew me into liking him to begin with.
All right, let me take it around Doug.
Ron Simmons, great athlete, great football player, great wrestler. Everybody's already said everything about him. That's the whole thing. Granted, I'm still trying to figure out who Bobby Lashley is. That's another story for another time. Ron Simmons was great. There's no doubt about it. Everybody loved him. I mean, he's one of those, to be honest, I know I said earlier about Bobo, but right after Bobo and the Big Cat on the Lab, Ron Simmons would probably be the third guy that was influential because he was the first full black champion. It's because of him, Booker T got to win, to a certain extent, got to win the WCW title many years later. But I don't think if you didn't have Ron Simmons, I don't think you would have ever saw a black NWA heavyweight champion or WCW heavyweight champion who was black.
I don't think, no, he was the first one to ever hold a major, the promotion's major championship ever in the history. So if it wasn't for him, we would never have had it, ever.
I mean, I really honestly had it since. I mean, I'm sure they want to make the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and they, the one that they had before they combined the belts to be a big deal, but to stay at the same time, Ron Simmons still is pretty much, between him and Booker T, the only two men that actually hold the company's major title. I mean, WWE has definitely, that's probably the one thing that probably set them apart right there is even when WCW was about to go under, they still at least left one last low blow to WWE by saying we can at least end our company with a fighting African-American as our world heavyweight champion, so suck on that, Vince.
That's right.
Yeah, and real quick, the one thing it was like, thankfully you guys didn't hit on everything. One of the things I wanted to hit about Ron Simmons was, like, this is a guy that, when I saw him, like, especially when Doom broke up, this is a guy that became one of the African-American role models. Because if you ever heard when he did speak, then you would see him at schools, like, always talking to, like, inner-city children, like, and always trying to tell them that about their goals. And then, like, I remembered a clip shortly after he won the World's Heavyweight title that he went back to some of the schools that he's spoken at, and it was like, see, there was a real big positive influence, and hit off what Ron was saying earlier, was that, yeah, he didn't have to say a lot, because his actions would do it for him. And when he was still WCW champion, that action spoke loudest of all, because you would and this wasn't just black kids. These are white kids. You had Latino kids. You had, like, everybody influenced by what Ron Simmons did. Although, like, we may not have noticed it or appreciated it at that time, but Ron Simmons was pretty much a guy who bridged gaps within the 90s.
I thought he was one of the best promo guys in the business, and I still to this day think it's a shame that the WWE has brought him down to one fucking word.
Here's the problem with WWE when it came to Ron Simmons. When Ron Simmons decided to make that jump from WCW to WWE back in the 90s.
Right, 96, yep.
Right, Ron Simmons was that guy who everybody knew in WCW as a tag team specialist that turned himself into a single one-man fucking army in WCW. Vince McMahon had an opportunity of a lifetime where he capitalized on a guy who made history.
Right.
Instead, he stuck him in a goofy-looking powder puff blue Hail Caesar, this is Sparta suit. And
right.
Had him jump an already jacked up, injury-riddled Ahmed Johnson, and then I think this is the one thing that probably WWE actually did right by actually putting him in his own little element where he can just go and just beat people's asses and just have fun smiling about it. APA, no matter what I feel about Bradshaw becoming the person, that then I have all the utmost respect in the world for John Layfield and for the fact that he actually had enough stones to stay on national shows to actually call Ron Simmons his brother. And the fact that he actually still acknowledges that the best times of his life was not when he was one of the longest reigning WWE champions in history, or not even the fact that he pretty much was a wrestling god. He said his happiest, proudest moments of his entire professional wrestling career was all those times he sat back and was playing poker and smoking cigars and drinking beer with Ron Simmons, then going out and beating somebody's ass for more beer money. Now,
and can you imagine? And can you imagine the honor that Bradshaw must have felt to be sitting there? I mean, forget the fun that you're having during those segments, but I mean before those segments, to sit down. If you're going to pick someone's brain about this business, I don't think there's very many that can argue that there's very few people that would be better than Ron Simmons.
And I mean, they capitalized more on his tag team ability than they did on his singles competition, because they took that singles competition and they turned him into that Nation of Domination, which was great for the era that we were in, where Vince was always about the black man's going to be held down at all costs no matter what the hell happens. And I mean, if it wasn't for Ron Simmons, nobody would really give two shits about The Rock, plain and simple. And The Rock even.
I agree.
This is why I am impressed with how respectful The Rock has been ever since his big transition from this so-called, this little frilly half black, half Samoan Shawn Michaels wannabe, Shawn Michaels wannabe, but above all else, for him to literally for Ron Simmons to be able to sit here and do half the things he did and still do it with a smile on his face, even when the career was over, and be able to sit here and say, I said that one word with more pride than I ever did, mainly because of the fact that I say it enough at home. I said it enough in Tallahassee. I said it all over the damn place. For him to sit here and actually say that he did not feel degraded for basically having to come out and just say one word, because that's just how Ron Simmons is. Ron Simmons is not a talker, although in some cases, yes, he is a talker, but in more cases, he is a brawler. He's always been a brawler, always will be a brawler. I honestly think that the Attitude Era, because everybody wants to say, Stone Cold and The Rock and Triple H all sat here and did their parts in making the Attitude Era fantastic. It was that great tag team of Ron Simmons and a.k.a. Farouk and Justin and John Layfield, a.k.a. Bradshaw, out of nowhere, and literally just sitting here just making it fun to watch. Because honestly, to be truth be told, I love Steve Austin. Everybody knows that. But
they were originally put together in the Ministry with Undertaker. Once they separated, they became the Acolyte Protection Agency, which is where the APA thing began. But they were put together as a tag team in the Ministry as the Acolytes.
And then once they broke away and actually became themselves and got to do what they wanted to do whenever the hell they wanted to, They found more success there. They won multiple tag team titles. They literally had fun. They beat the hell out of people, then they walk away. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen it to the point where even John Layfield, we all know JBL now. I mean, he's this big giant heel guy, but when he literally talks about his times when he was joined up with Ron Simmons and APA, the smile on his face is genuine. It's something that is so out of character for this guy that it's just unbelievable.
Oh, no, absolutely, and I fully agree. I'm just saying, like I said, if you're going to be able to sit back and every single week and almost daily, I guess, at that point, and be able to pick the brain on the business, on how to get better, who better to pick it from than Ron Simmons?
If you're trying to really sit here and make the name of yourself, I mean, we could sit down and we could literally be talking about Ron Simmons for this whole damn show, and it will literally be flat-out prices. We wouldn't be able to even do him an ounce of justice. However, I'm pretty damn sure that if we literally sat here and put it on Facebook right now at facebook.com/WCC Live, if we actually sat here and put Ron Simmons, describe him, go, I'm literally saying this thing would just be bombarded because there'd be so many diehard wrestling fans who are all about that old school flavor that Ron Simmons brought to the table from day one. Even when he was still under the mask, he was still that guy that literally intimidated people without even having to say a word. And when he said something, the only thing he pretty much said that pretty much resonates even to this day is that he's a bad man.
That is true. And, we talked about, of course, Ron being one half of the first Black NWA Tag Team Champions. Well, we also have these next two gentlemen comprise the first Black WWE Tag Team Champions. Of course, we're talking about Mr. USA Tony Atlas and, of course, old man Rocky Johnson. And I had to admit, Melissa, you actually brought up Tony Atlas earlier in the show. What was it about Tony and Rocky that stood out to you?
Well, to me, it was more of a Southern roots, and that the fact that he loved the USA, he loved bodybuilding, and he didn't stand down from anything. He was, I guess you'd say, another Ron Simmons to be on a different level. I know he was Saba Simba, I believe it was.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was one part I was trying not to think about when it came to especially after Piper outed him for it. But
right, and I was going to say that to me was probably the worst thing they could have done for Tony Atlas.
Yeah, but that's funny you did bring up that comparison because actually, with the way Atlas was, I want to tell you this, and I don't know if anybody's ever said this, so I'm hoping not. I honestly think had Hulk Hogan not came around, I actually thought Atlas could have been that guy that could have pulled it off. Because, after all, you got a man called Mr. USA. How much more can you... And like I said, this dude... A lot of people don't realize Tony Atlas back in the day was jacked. And when I say jacked, I mean like this dude was about as cut could be. Right? And I already told you, like, and then on top of that, with Rocky Johnson, who was no slouch in physical department in his own right. Yeah, I could feel like either one of these two would have really blown up. Like, had Hogan not been, the guy that he turned out to be.
Well, when it basically comes down to it, I think in all fairness, even back then, Vince was an evil racist genius. And yes, I'm going to call him pretty much a racial genius just because of the fact that it was proven. You had a guy named Mr. USA who happened to be black. And then you bring in Hulk Hogan, who he dubbed a real American. I mean, that's almost like an epitome of a slap in the face. But when they say actions speak louder than words, they were talking about Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson. Rocky Johnson was pretty much, if you really wanted to honestly know how The Rock would be, how The Rock would truly have been, if he actually could follow completely in his father's footsteps, this pretty much was it. Rocky Johnson never got that opportunity to be able, and then frankly, neither did Tony Atlas, to be able to stand out and hold his own. I'm thinking in my head, either one of these guys could have taken Hulk Hogan to the limits and even possibly have beaten Hulk Hogan. If either one of these guys had gotten a shot at Hulk Hogan, even in his prime, even before his prime, they would have literally given Hulk Hogan something to think about, and just in the same case, a very young, arrogant Vince McMahon.
All right, let me go to Dougie for next with them.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
Let's
go, asshole.
As far as Mr. Tony USA, I love him. Great guy. He is a Virginia guy. You know, everyone knows that. So,
Hello?
Yeah, I think we're losing Doug here.
That's what I thought. It sounded like he was cutting out.
Yeah,
It sounds like somebody cut Doug Barrett's mic
off
off.
for a little bit.
He'll be back in a minute. Anyway, moving on.
Rob,
Vince McMahon is listening, and he's cutting everybody's mic off. Ain't that about a bitch?
All right, Gosling.
Yo.
Your thoughts on Tony and Rock.
On Tony and Rocky. Well, how can you deny anything that... sorry. How is it... You can't really deny Tony and Rocky too much, considering they were the first African-American WWE Tag Team Champions. They were athletic. They had the gifts. They had the skills. They had the ability in the ring. You know, mic skills, everything. They were the complete package.
And I gotta say, like mentioned that Rocky Johnson was actually, actually one of our few Canadian African. So, but it was like he had a dual citizenship.
I'm back, guys.
All right, welcome back, Dougie.
Yeah, Verizon decided to drop the call, so first off, fuck you, Verizon. Now, like I was saying, I love Mr. USA. Great person. If he would have been around, if he would have came out a few years before, maybe would have won 30 years before, maybe if Hogan would have stayed in the AWA, Tony would have been champion probably. As far as Rocky Johnson, tag team title run, I can't say anything good about him. I really although matches didn't find him entertaining. I mean,
you could say one good thing about the guy.
That would be that his son went on to become one of the greatest superstars in the sport. But I'm sorry,
not just that. At least he's not the Ultimate Warrior.
To be honest, if it was between Rocky Johnson and the Ultimate Warrior, I'd probably say, where's JTG or R-Truth? That'd be more fun.
Oh, that's cold. Was that a
black billboard? All due respect. All due respect, Dougie, how can you say Rocky Johnson was not this dude? I was about to say this dude was like the black part of like maybe Bart Connor, if anything, or if you want to go. I can't think of too many male gymnasts, so I can't really pull anything out my head right now.
Something like that.
But I never found Rocky entertaining. I mean, I always thought Tony was the one who was entertaining on that team too. Makes me want to watch. Makes me want to watch those matches that when they were attacking each other. Tony. Rocky, I'm like, I have no need for him, but if people like him, hey, good for them. As far as for me, I'll probably go fix a sandwich or something, go get a drink until the match is over.
All right. Real quick before we cut off here, because I got to talk to Ron's hometown man here from Denver, Colorado. This is one of my I wanted to bring up. The first ever black double champion in wrestling. Of course, I'm talking about Too Cold Scorpio, the man, or as he called himself at ECW, Too Gold Scorpio because he was both tag team and TV champion. But I had to admit, like, when I first saw Scorpio, like, he came in no fanfare, and I was like, who is this dude flying around here? And he was, like, literally taking out Cactus Jack, the Barbarian, and Tony Atlas all in one shot. And it was like, I don't know who this dude Ron Simmons brought in, but whoever it is, he's something. It is like, I was seeing him doing stuff that, well, now I more associate with, like, the Lucha Libre style. Like, Too Cold was definitely somebody that was definitely underrated and unfortunately saddled with bad gimmicks, so like Flash Funk. But anyway, Ron, how did you feel about your hometown man, Too Cold Scorpio?
Well, for starters, I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, so I always claim St. Louis as my home. Sorry about y'all damn luck if y'all don't like it. But in regards to the other place that I've called home for many, many years, Too Cold Scorpio was that epitome of, he had the flair of Ernie the Cat Miller, the ring awareness and style of Rey Mysterio. This guy could literally sit here and fly around. R-Truth should be like taking notes. In fact, I think R-Truth was taking notes when it came down to Go Scorpio. This was a guy that literally came down, flaunting around with ladies under each arm, crazy off-the-wall top hats, crazy outfits, and would just straight up literally keep the match so entertaining that even when the crowd would want to say they're bored, they can't say they're bored because this guy still finds new and exciting ways to just make things happen. He literally finds ways to sit here and just keep the crowd into it. He never got that big-time push, which I think was bad on his part. I'm hoping that, Jay Lethal becomes that guy who pretty much he epitomizes that. And I've got to give Too Cold props for literally sitting here making a name for himself in a company that literally embraced. I mean, this is one thing I do miss about WCW. At least they embraced all their talent and not just the talent of a certain tone, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doug or Rob, or actually, Melissa, can I go to you on Too Cold?
No, he was all right. I liked him in ECW. Of course, in ECW, you weren't afraid to do anything, so, yeah, that was a great attitude to have. And I didn't like him coming into the WWE as Flash Funk. That was just a little outrageous.
And Doug or Rob?
Yeah, I'm just going to be honest. The only thing I know about Too Cold is the WCW music video. So other than that, yeah, let's go up to Canada.
Yeah.
He was just innovative. He was, I think Ron said it best, he did stuff that no one ever saw before, and really took it to the high-flying style of wrestling to that next level.
And, all right, and actually, I better get this in right now because I don't know how much time we have left. But as we all know, sadly, we got, I'm going to have to speak through the rest of this list, but also wanted to acknowledge a few other of the African-American community real quick. Of course, Teddy Long, long-time referee, manager, actually was first ever African-American manager of the year when he helped Too Cold and Bagwell become tag team champions, although that lasted only a day. Of course, Jacqueline Moore, who we know Miss Texas down in the USWA promotion down in Tennessee. Of course, became the first ever African-American WWE Women's Champion.
Champion.
Yeah, and also one of the first African-American woman to hold a men's title. She held the Cruiserweight title up there in WWE as well. Then, of course, my man Booker T, of course, the 5-time WCW champion who we always mentioned throughout the show.
Also from Texas. And Texas says you're welcome.
Yep. Yeah, what's going on, right?
What's up, yo?
Of course, always 2-time champ. Of course, Houston's own Booker T right there. And, of course, course, Jacqueline being from Dallas, and don't want to disrespect
Yes,
there. But last but not least, we got to mention this man who sadly passed away last night. Of course, Nelson Frazier, a.k.a. Mabel, Big Daddy V. Viscera. Man, I got to admit, this one caught me by surprise because I was like, where's all these things coming up from? And I was like, what the hell?
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's become to the point where we can honestly say Big Daddy V gone, Mae Young gone, John Cena still fucking breathing. God, we can't kill this bastard.
Oh, that was such a wrong film there, but I'm not going to.
I could have just said Edge.
That was cold. That was cold.
Am I the only
L's not in here, so I can't say Edge.
Whoa, sorry, Melissa, what? Whoa, guys, hold up. Pardon, Melissa?
Am I the only female that feels that way?
About what?
I believe you might be. I believe you might be on a couple aspects right there.
Pretty much.
Man.
We got one person
I'm so
tonight.
tired of John Cena.
Man, John Cena ain't about that life.
Man, fuck John Cena.
All right, go back to. All right, real quick, back to Mabel, because like I said, I don't know how much time we got left, but anyway, real quickly, how did you guys feel like when you guys heard this news? Man, because I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I was hoping they were lying, honestly.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
Yeah,
43.
Well, that's just it. I got the message last night from a buddy of mine who texted it to me because, again, my phone can't get internet for. My phone broke or whatever, but my buddy texted me last night and said, yeah, he's passed away. I was like, wait, what? Is this like some kind, is this, Twitter killing off more people than cancer again, or is this legit?
Twitter? What's Twitter? Who knows? All right, everybody. Well, I had to admit, yeah, all I gotta admit is that it was cool to see a Black King, a legitimate one, because yeah. So Mabel was Mabel Visser, call it what you will, but I do have to admit that was kind of fly when he came in like as King Mabel, because
And the thing that always got me the most about him is for a 6'9", almost 500-pound dude, that motherfucker was fast and light on his feet. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck.
Now,
he could bust those spin kicks.
Exactly.
I'm going to let you talk about Mabel. I'm going to let you talk about his great spin kick. But how could we forget Mr. Jive Show Blow himself? How could we forget about the Slickster, man? That's a crime.
It's simple, because I said for once we was not going to discuss any coonery on today's show. And that is what it is.
Doug Barrett, what did you expect?
Come on, he's a Jive Show bro. He's a Jive Show bro.
Even though Slick is one of my homeboys, though, but yeah, I'm sorry, most of his character was the Dr. Style instead of Reverend Slick, which that alone
I will say
failed
this
to
much about Mr. Frazier, Mabel. When this guy gave me nightmares as a teenager, not because of his intimidating stature and those crazy fucking eyes that he had while he was with Ministry, but because of the fact that when he dubbed himself the Love Machine and the outfit that he wore, I kind of thought in my head, I really hope I never marry a woman that has, a chest.
Years of therapy, and it still hasn't helped.
But the biggest thing I will remember about him is that, like pretty much Red said, for a guy of that size to be able to move that agile and we're talking about a guy that's the size of the Big Show, that moves like that pretty much moves like any cruiserweight I've ever seen, and for him to literally sit here and pull off half those moves and do them beautifully, no Sin Cara moments.
Just for the record.
Moment.
Sorry, yeah, I agree with you full-heartedly. I mean, he was for his size, he was agile as fuck. Now, just for the record, he actually was 6'9" and weighing in at 525 pounds.
That is one big show when he was a giant.
Hey, at least he tried to do those springboard moves like T5. Ooh.
Yeah. Or he's about the size. He's actually the size of Gator, only taller.
Damn.
Ooh.
On that note,
you gonna take that? Ooh, you gonna take that, Gator? I guess.
Never on.
Gator here?
We're gonna take it to the event center because that was just.
Well. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to wrap this up very shortly. I do think we do have some promotions that we are gonna have to promote here.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Rob. All right, because let's see what we got this Friday. Of course, out in El's neck of the woods. There, we got the Santino brothers. Yeah, they're presenting action at the Academy, which you can find out in Bell Gardens. We got my man Ray Rosas defending the Santino Brothers Championship against Lolo Cholo. We got Mr. It Ain't Easy Being Sleazy Joey Ryan going against Che Guevara on the card. Famous C and Bobby Rios will compete in Los Bandidos will be in tag team action against the Arrogant Bastards. And Robbie Phoenix will take on Justin Rank. That'll be Friday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. And if you guys are out there in Bell Gardens, make sure you go to the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, 5640 Shoal Street, Unit S in Bell Gardens. And you can follow them at SantinoBros.net or follow them on Twitter at Santino Bros. Also this Friday, the Ring of Honor 12th anniversary will take place in my hometown of Philadelphia at the National Guard Armory on Southampton Road. And check out this card we got. Adam Cole defends the Ring of Honor heavyweight title against Chris Hero. The TV title will be on the line as Tommaso Ciampa, the Sicilian psychopath, will take on Hansen. And no, not the Umbop guys.
Umbop.
All right. For the tag team title, Red Dragon. Yeah, we'll take on the Adrenaline Rush. In singles action, the phenomenal AJ Styles will take on Jay Lethal. In an unsanctioned street fight, Mr. Wrestling Kevin Steen will take on Cliff Compton. The Icon Matt Hardy will take on Unbreakable Michael Elgin. And the Last Romance Silas Young will take on Matt Taven.
Hold on a second. Matt Hardy made bail?
Yes, he did, surprisingly.
Ooh.
And of course, six-man tag team action is Mark Briscoe, Adam Page, and Cedric Alexander take on the Decade. And that's Friday's Ring of Honor show. Saturday, AJ Styles will take on Michael Elgin. Also, Tommaso Ciampa will defend the television title against Jay Lethal. In six-man action, Adrenaline Rush and Andrew Everett will take on the Decade. The Romantic Touch will take on Artie Evans in singles action. And Outlaw Inc. will make their return to Ring of Honor. If you want to learn more about them, you can follow them on Twitter at Ring of Honor, or you can follow their website at ROHWrestling.com. Check out Ring of Honor both Friday and Saturday from the National Guard Armory, 2700 Southampton Road, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19154. And also don't forget, this Sunday, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood has a TV taping from the Ocean View Pavilion, 575 East Surfside Drive in Point Hueneme, California, 93041. Bell time is 3 p.m. Pacific time. For ticket information, call 805-986-4818 or check them out at oceanviewinfo.com. If you want to follow Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, you can go to hollywoodwrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at CWF Hollywood. Those are our events. Please make sure to support and defend your local independent wrestling federations, and do remember all cards are indeed subject to change. Speaking of independent wrestling, next Wednesday night, it is our all-independent show.
I have a couple of promos.
Everybody. Yeah, Rob, we're actually would like to. Yeah, because Rob, I know we're getting ready to cut time here, so I'll just go down. Just real quick, this Sunday, Smash Wrestling, Danger Zone at 227 Lounge, 137 City View Drive. Doors open at 4, bells times 5, tickets are $20. We have a ladder match with Brent Banks against Alex Vega. Mickey James from ROH is taking on Vanessa Craven and Sandra Bale. Jay Lethal from ROH is taking on Scotty Hacker O'Shea.
Chris Bishop is taking on Matt Cross. The Overdogs are taking on the Super Smash Brothers, and the Cyborg Tyson Dukes is taking on Pepper Parks.
Right, and of course, follow them at smash.wrestling.com, and then follow them on Twitter as well. Do not forget that all independent shows are Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern, so make sure you guys tune in next week for that. Don't forget all of the great WCC shows. We got Uncensored on Mondays, 30 minutes after Raw. We got Overload at 10:30 on Tuesday nights. Of course, we got Ring Rockers on Wednesdays, and Sex Battles comes up in just a few minutes. Tomorrow and every Thursday night, Big Red has the recipe 30 minutes after Impact. And, of course, Friday night, Doug and Kara have their main event 30 minutes after SmackDown. And as always, the number to call into every show is 760-569-7676, access 200-446-pound. Hit that pound key and don't forget to listen to the show. That's what she said.
Shame on you, Reese. Shame on you.
Also, don't forget, hey, I mentioned all the shows. And don't forget, follow the group, it's Wrestling Commentary Central. We're on Facebook. Don't forget also to check out the WCC Live page. Also, follow us on Twitter at WCC Live. Well, for the Canadian Goose, for Malevolent Melissa, for Captain Ron, for Doug the Asshole, and of course, our executive producer is live and direct, and still are you still the champion? Yes,
No.
you are. I don't care.
See.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Our WCC World Heavyweight Champion, El.CIBERNETICO. And by the way, and my pick to win season, I don't know what season this is at a WCC draft. I think it's 10. Anyway, I'm Rockin' Reese. We'll catch you later on the show with the music of wrestling talk never stop. WCC Ring Rockers, Sex Battles is next. Good night.
You're welcome.
Nap time is